Our story, Sting, 2024, starts with Helga, an old woman struggling with dementia. Each day she tries to remember things that keep slipping away, but today a strange noise comes from her vent, breaking the quiet and making her scared. Wanting to feel safe, Helga quickly calls for help from the exterminators. Soon, a man named Frank shows up, thinking it's just another regular job. As he gets closer to Helga's apartment, he notices something odd, a white liquid leaking from a vent and a bad smell. Frank ignores it, focusing on the noises Helga mentioned. Inside, Helga tells him about the scary sounds. Frank mentions his team members, who came earlier and haven't returned. Helga can't remember them because of her dementia. As Frank looks more into it, things start to get scarier. He finds blood in the vent, and then a dead body, one of his team. Frank is terrified, and before he can leave, something pulls him into the dark vent. Helga watches in shock, but her memory resets, making her forget her fear. She hears the noises again and calls the exterminators, hoping one day someone like Ace Ventura might come to solve her mystery. 4 days before, a meteorite crashes at night, landing in an apartment. This apartment is owned by Gunter, the strict building manager, and Helga's sister. A spider-like alien comes out of the meteorite. Charlotte, Helga's adventurous 12-year-old granddaughter, goes into the vent of Gunter's place. She wants to take some dolls, but finds the alien spider instead. Captivated, she traps it in a matchbox, bringing a mysterious alien into their lives. Meanwhile, Ethan, Charlotte's stepdad, argues with Gunter over broken windows and missing dolls. Unaware of the real danger hiding in the building, Ethan is strongly told by Gunter, the building manager, to fix the broken stuff or watch his daughter more closely. Ethan takes this seriously and talks to Charlotte in her room. Despite his efforts, Charlotte, who doesn't see Ethan as her dad, ignores his worries, making their relationship worse. Ethan, upset, tells her not to go into other people's rooms again and leaves, feeling worried but unable to do much. Meanwhile, we see Heather, Charlotte's mom, who is busy looking after Liam, her new baby, with Ethan. Heather plans to visit her sick mom and asks Charlotte to look after Liam. Charlotte says yes, but soon gets distracted by her new pet spider. In her room, Charlotte feeds a cockroach to the spider and watches in awe as it eats the bug, which is twice its size. In one go, excited by its abilities, she names the spider Sting and thinks about starting a video channel with it to become famous and rich. Elsewhere, Ethan, who is trying to make money from his comic book work, also does maintenance jobs. While working on pipes in an apartment below, a cockroach falls on his face, reminding him of the less nice parts of his side jobs. He finishes his work and chats with Maria, the apartment's owner, despite the earlier bug incident. Back at home, Charlotte keeps feeding Sting more cockroaches, and the spider keeps getting bigger with each meal. That evening, Ethan and Charlotte bond over their love for comics. They come up with ideas for his new comic, and Heather, coming home, is happy to see them getting along, which is unusual for them. Later that night, when the house is quiet and Charlotte isn't there, Ethan looks into her room. He sees Sting, now much bigger, and feels uneasy as he looks at the jars, sensing something bad might happen. As Ethan sees a very big spider in Charlotte's room, he is shocked, but Charlotte quickly tries to distract him from her new pet spider. She likes the spider a lot and doesn't want to lose it. Ethan, wanting to keep things calm, puts Charlotte to bed and tells her he loves her. Charlotte, lost in her thoughts, doesn't answer and soon falls asleep. Meanwhile, the spider named Sting sneaks out of its jar and explores the vents at night. It ends up in Gunter's apartment, scares her pet parrot. The next morning, everyone is upset by Gunter's loud scream. They rush to help her and find her pet parrot dead, which shocks everyone. They think a rat might be to blame and quickly call the exterminator. Frank, the exterminator, comes with his tools but doesn't believe it's a rat. He doesn't find any rats but sprays some bug spray just to be safe. The mystery remains unsolved. Back in Charlotte's room, things are quieter. Sting has secretly come back from its night out. As Charlotte plays with Sting, she is surprised when it copies the sound of a nearby cat, a new and surprising skill. She keeps feeding it cockroaches, which Sting eats eagerly. Suddenly, a mothball rolls into the room, making Sting panic. Charlotte figures out that Sting is scared of mothballs. Their quiet moment is interrupted by another visit from Frank, who wants to spray the room with bug spray. Charlotte firmly says no, wanting to protect Sting. She argues that the spray could hurt her spider. Frank sees Sting and warns Charlotte about the risks of keeping such strange pets. Despite his advice, Charlotte doesn't change her mind and asks him to leave. At midnight, Sting escapes again, crawling through the vents. This time it goes into Maria's apartment and scares her small dog. Maria, not knowing about the danger, takes her sleeping pills and goes to bed, unaware of the threat now hiding in the building. Maria picks up a photo frame from the wall, showing a picture of her family. It's a sad reminder. She lost them all in a car crash years ago. Lost in memories, her quiet moment is interrupted by a sharp pain. Sting, the unusual spider, has bitten her face. Shocked, Maria falls and hits her head on the floor. Trying to get up, she looks in the mirror to see her injury, but collapses again, now unable to move. In a terrifying moment, Sting crawls into her mouth and then shockingly comes out through her stomach, ending Maria's life. Someone might make a dark joke. Now that's what I call a good Saturday. The next day, Charlotte, not knowing about the terrible event upstairs, visits her neighbor Eric, a biology student who lives below. Eric is always busy with his experiments. Charlotte shows him Sting, which is now bigger and can copy sounds. Eric is interested. He promises to find the best place for Sting and plans to build a special tank for it. Trusting him, Charlotte leaves Sting with him. Meanwhile, Maria's scared dog runs through the vent to Ethan's apartment. Ethan thinks the dog just got out and decides to return it. But when he gets to Maria's apartment, he finds her dead. He quickly calls the police, asking them to look into the strange and deadly events in the building, as the residents are shocked by the recent deaths. First the parrot, and now Maria. Everyone starts to worry. Eric then calls Ethan to his place, telling him everything he has found out about Sting and the danger it might bring. He thinks Sting might be behind the deaths. Seeing how big the spider has gotten, Ethan is worried and decides to leave it to Eric, saying, "This one's on you, man. I don't know. When Charlotte finds out about these things, she is angry. She can't believe her beloved pet could cause any harm. In a big fight with Ethan, Charlotte yells that he isn't her dad and shouldn't tell her what to do. Upset, she says she wants to live with her real dad, who she thinks is in Thailand. But Ethan accidentally reveals that her real dad is actually in the same town and doesn't want to see her. This news breaks Charlotte's heart, and she starts crying, upset about the dad she hoped. Heather, hearing this, gets very angry at him for telling Charlotte such hurtful thing. Meanwhile, Eric decides not to give the dangerous spider to the authorities and keeps it. He sets up the perfect place for it to grow, hoping to use its power himself. As he feeds it, the spider gets scarily big, soon too big for its space. Ethan's life gets worse too. His publisher calls to stop his comic book series as it's taking too long. Then, Gunter, the building manager, fires him from his repair job, blaming him for neglect she thinks caused Maria's death. Gunter, missing her cat and hearing it meow from the vents, foolishly decides to look for it herself. But in the dark, her flashlight stops working, and the giant spider, Sting, attacks her. Back at home, Ethan is very upset and starts breaking things around the house like a rock star during a concert. Heather tries to stop him, but they just end up arguing more. Feeling all the tension, Charlotte takes baby Liam to her room, puts on headphones, and watches videos to avoid the noise. While everyone is distracted, Sting takes this chance. It attacks Ethan and Heather, paralyzes them, and pulls them towards the vent. Charlotte, not noticing because of her headphones, finally takes them off when she hears Maria's dog barking a lot. Worried, she goes to check, but before she understands what's happening, Sting grabs the dog and drags it away, pulling the family deeper into a nightmare they're just starting to grasp. Charlotte's day turns into a nightmare when she sees blood around her apartment and finds out her parents are gone. She panics as she realizes that the scary events caused by Sting, the spider she once liked. Her fear grows when Sting takes her little brother Liam right in front of her. Feeling guilty, she cries, blaming herself for everything. Then she remembers that Sting is scared of mothballs. Holding on to this bit of hope, Charlotte acts quickly. She crushes mothballs, mixes them with water to make a strong spray. She fills a squirt gun with this mix, ready to save her family. Armed, Charlotte goes to Eric's apartment, finds him stuck to the ceiling, spiderweb. She then checks on her grandmother, Helga, who is okay because she always has mothballs, which keep the spider away. Charlotte tells Helga to call the exterminators. Then she refills her bottles with the mothball mix and covers herself with it. She goes into the vent, following the sound of her dad Ethan's screams. She finds him caught in webs but frees him with the mothball spray. As they try to get out, they fall into the building's basement. Sting is ready to attack Charlotte on the floor, but Ethan quickly sprays the spider with the mothball water, making it back off. They're stuck in the basement with no keys and panic hits again. Charlotte feels bad, but Ethan tells her they'll figure it out together. Meanwhile, Helga, hearing noises, calls for an exterminator. Frank, the exterminator, comes to check. But like before, Sting pulls him into a vent. Frank ends up in the basement with Ethan and Charlotte. He tries to get out, banging on the door, but no one hears him outside. Overwhelmed, Frank gets upset, blaming Charlotte for the mess, and even threatening Ethan. In a tough moment, Charlotte steps up and says they can handle the problem with their mothball water. Just then, Sting comes back, ready to attack again. Frank quickly grabs his nail gun and shoots the spider, hurting it. But his shot also breaks a water pipe, making the mothball water less effective. Taking advantage of this, the hurt but still fierce Sting attacks again, leading to Frank's terrible end. Scared and desperate, Charlotte and Ethan look for a place to hide and choose the garbage compactor. There, they find Heather and Liam wrapped in cobwebs. With the last of their mothball solution, they free them, bringing the family together in an unusual hiding spot. Safe for the moment, Charlotte thinks about how much she loves her family, realizing how strange the events were that brought them to this clear moment. But their peace is short as Sting shows up again. Ethan quickly tries to trap the spider in the compactor, but the machine won't start despite many tries. With no other choices and danger close, Ethan risks his life to fix the compactor's electrical plug. He fixes it, but gets shocked in the process. As he falls, Heather runs to give him CPR, but he doesn't respond at first. Watching, Charlotte prays hard for Ethan's recovery, counting to 3. Then, Ethan wakes up and starts to breathe again. Feeling thankful, and now seeing him differently, Charlotte runs to him, calling him Dad for the first time, and telling him she loves him over and over. Ethan, touched by her words, hugs her tightly. As the family hugs, happy to be alive, the scene changes to a scary find. Several spider eggs in a basement box, ready to hatch. It's a dark reminder that the trouble from Sting was just the start, and their problems might not be over yet. This is where the movie story ends.